All right, welcome back. We are doing review number 9 through 13. Read the directions. Find all the zeros, state the multiplicity, and the behavior. Then sketch the graph. Okay, so those are the things that you have to do. On number 9, set this one equal to 0. When you do, x is equal to 0. Okay? Next, set that one equal to 0. X is equal to -1. Your last one, set that equal to 0, x is equal to -5. Your multiplicity is your exponent. What is the multiplicity of this one right here? Your exponent is a 1, so that's going to be a cross. Your second one, your multiplicity is a 4, and a 4 is an even number. You're going to have a bounce. Your last one, your multiplicity is a 1, that's also going to be a cross. Now go ahead and try to find out if it's even or odd and all that, okay? So you're going to go f of x equal x. Count your multiplicity because basically it is going to be your exponent. 1 plus 4 plus 1 is 6. So that tells you it's an even. Look at your leading coefficient. You see that too? That is a positive. 1 here is a positive. This one's a positive. That tells you this is going to be a positive. Your graph is going to go in the positive direction. It's even, so they're both going to go in the same direction. Now label all your points. 0. I like to put what I am doing above each one of those intersections. Okay? At -1, I am going to bounce. At -5, I am going to cross. Now let's start. See how you have this label already? It kind of really helps you decide where you're going to go. At -5, I am going to cross. So I'm going to start right here because this is where I'm starting, and I'm going to go down. At -1, I am going to bounce. Okay? At 0, I am going to cross. Oops. Let me make that a little bit better. And there's your cross. Add your 2 arrows. Do you see how they're both going to go the same direction? Do you see how they both are positive? So that matches what you have in mind. And there's number 9. Number 10. Okay? Here's number 10. Do you see how there's no variable with that one? Just ignore that for now. Next one. X is equal to opposite of negative 1 over 2. Okay? This one right here, x is equal to 4. Set that equal to 0. X is equal to -3. Set that one equal to 0. X is equal to -8. Now let's take a look at our multiplicity. This one has a multiplicity of 3, so that's going to be a wave. It's an odd, but not a 1. This one has a multiplicity of 1. See, your exponent's a 1, so that's going to be a cross. This one has a multiplicity of 6. That's a bounce. And this last one has a multiplicity of 1, and that's a cross. Now you can go ahead and label all this and determine your functions now or later. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and determine if it's an odd or an even function. F of x equals x. Add your multiplicity. 3 plus 1 is 4, plus 6 is 10, plus 1 more, 11. That tell you it's an odd. Okay? Negative, positive, 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 positive. A negative times a positive times a positive times a positive times a positive gives you a negative. So this is a negative graph. Let's go ahead and plot our intersection. 1/2. Oh, I think that looks like 1/2. 4, I'm going to put it right here. -3, that looks good. -8, that looks good. As long as you have it labeled, I'm okay. You're going to cross at 4. You're going to bounce at 3. You are going to have a wave at 1/2. And at -8, you are going to cross. Okay? Now, it says it's an odd and it's negative. That means I'm going to end down here. And if it's odd, if it's down here, I'm going to start up here. See that? start at -8. What did I say we're going to do? We are going to cross. We are going to bounce. Okay? We are going to do a wave. Now, the easiest way to do a wave is kind of flatten it out like this and let it come down. That's the easiest way to do a wave. You need to show that you kind of flatten. And then you're going to cross right here. So I'm going to continue on and I'm going to cross. And there's your cross. So your graph should look something like this, okay? And if you want to make it prettier, you sure can. And there you have your graph. End it where you thought and start it where you thought. There's number 10. Number 11. You are to state all the possible rational zeros and then find all the zeros. So, all possible is always your P over your Q. 5 is P, this other 5 is your Q, okay? So P, factors of 5, is 1 and 5. Your Q, factors of 5, is 1 and 5. So here are all your possible. You need to write a plus or a minus. If you don't, that's half credit gone. What are all your P's? 1, 5. Take a look at your Q. Divided by 1, divided by 1, okay? Other group, 1, 5. What's your other Q? Divide by 5, divide by 5. Now, you see how these two are the same, really? Just ignore it. You don't need to mark it off unless you want to, okay? I won't count off. Now, to find all your zeros, what you're going to have to do is, you know you're going to have 3. I'm going to use the calculator, okay, but I won't use zeros. I would actually go to calculate and hit value. So, on your calculator, you would hit second calc, hit value after you have graph, okay? And this is the part that you would go. You're going to have 3 answers. In this very first one, let me type this in so I can kind of show you, okay? Let me get out of that. Here we go. So, you're going to type this equation right here. Go to y equal, let's get out of that, go to y equal 5x raised to the third, right click, plus 19x square minus 29x plus 5. And I'm going to graph. Now, you see how you can't see everything? You can change your window at this time. So go to window. Notice I can start at -5 and end at +5 here. So I'm going to go to window and I'm going to change that. Oh, maybe a -7 would be better. Ends at 5. Don't change your scale. And I like my y minimum to be -100 and my y max to be 100. And sometimes you might want to change your scale. It's all a matter of preference. Hit graph. I like this so I can spread it out. You see how I can see it so much better? You see how that's crossing at 5. Double check to make sure if it does cross at 5. Hit second calculate. See where it says value? Hit enter and type in -5. Do you see how y is equal to 0? If it's equal to 0, that tells you that it's going to cross the x-axis there. So that means one of your solution is going to be a 5. Now, there's 2 that I need to go find. I can either try to find it right here, or I can actually just continue here and do synthetic division. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use synthetic division. Okay? Look at your numbers. Exponent, all in order. So just bring down your leading coefficient. 5, 19, -25, and a 5. I'm actually going to write x to the third here just to help me. But you're not required to. Draw a line, bring this down. So now you have a 5. 5 times 5 is 25. Oh, I'm so sorry, that should be a negative. Be a -25. 19 minus 25 is -6. -6 times -5 is 30. Leaves you 1. 1 times -5 is -5. Do you see how this is a 0? Mark it off, okay? Now you have x squared minus 6x plus 1. Do you see how this is one of your solution? Do you see how this is a quadratic? I can use my quadratic formula to help me now. So I'm going to have -6 plus or minus square root, okay, of -6 squared minus 4 times your A times your C, all of that over 2 times A. All right, now type all that into your calculator, like I will right here. So I'm going to clear, get out of that, and I'm going to put negative 6 squared minus 4 times A times your C, oops, get rid of that, and that equals 16. So this is the square root of 16, and the square root of 16 is a 4. So now let's rewrite this. Okay, let me cover this part up so you can have more room. So x is equal to 6 plus or minus 4 over 10. Whenever I have a number like that, I like to separate them. So I will have x equals 6 plus 4, 6 plus 4 divided by 10. 6 plus 4 is 10 over 10, so your solution is 1. So there's one of them, okay? The other one, 6 minus 4 divided by 10 gives you 2 over 10, and that comes out to be 1/5. Now, if you go and check that, that looks like 1/5, and that looks like 1. So your two answers up here will be 1, and your other one is 1/5. X to the third, 3 answers. You are done. Okay? Let's go to number 12. All right, how many answers should you expect? 4. So let's go ahead and graph that one. Look at our P's over Q first. Here's your P, okay? Factors of P is 2, so it's 1 and 2. Your Q is a 5. There's your Q. Factors of 5 is 1 and 5. So what are all my possible ratios? Q, P over Q equals plus or minus 1, 2 over 1 over 1, plus or minus 1, 2 over 5 over 5. So there you have your P's and your Q's. Now let's go find all of our zeros. So these are all your possible solutions. Okay, go to clear your last problem. Let's type this one in. 5x raised to the 4th, right click, minus 7x squared plus 2. Go ahead and graph that one. Okay. Do you see how I kind of see it like this? I can see everything already, so that's good. Okay? Now let's take a look. Second calc. Wait a minute, let me go back. That looks like a 1. So let's see. Let's try 1. Okay. Second count, the value 1. See how that works? So I know my first answer is a 1. You should have 4 of them. Okay. Let's try the other one. I think that looks like a negative 1. Second count value, negative 1. Did that work? You bet. Now we're going to go try to find the other two, okay? But we'll need to use synthetic division to try to find those. All right, I am going to use this one first. 1. Now, take a look. You got a 4, I'm missing a 3, and I'm missing an x, okay? So you're going to have 5, 0, negative 7, 0, 2. Do your synthetic division. Bring down your 5. 5 times 1 is 5. Have a 5. 5 times 1 is 5. Negative 2. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Add. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. You see how you have a 0 there? So this was x to the 4th. Now you have x to the 3rd. I'm going to divide this one by negative 1 from right here. Draw your line. Okay, I'm going to use a different color. 5. 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. 0. 0 times negative 1 is 0. Negative 2 plus 0 is negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. And you got a 0. Okay? There you have that. That was the 3rd, so now that's x squared. Plus 0x minus 2. Now, if you will look, see how you have a quadratic? You can either do a quadratic equation, formula, or you can just set it equal to 0 and solve. Since there's 2 terms, I'm going to set it equal to 0 and solve. Okay? So, add 2 5x squared is equal to 2. Divide by 5. 2 over 5. Take a square root. X is equal to plus or minus square root of 2 over 5. I will take that as an answer, but honestly, you really need to rationalize it. And to rationalize, this is what you would do, okay? Square root of 2 over square root of 5. Multiply by the denominator, so you have square root of 10 over 5. So the other answer would be plus or minus square root of 10 over 5. This is the preferred answer, but I will take that. And so there you have your 4 answers. So you have square root of 10 over 5, negative square root of 10 over 5. So there's your 4 answers. That's number 12. Number 13, okay? On number 13, it says use the following graph to answer the following equation. So it says identify the zeros right here. X is crossing at negative 5. And then it says state the multiplicity. You see how this is a bounce? If it's a bounce, just assume that multiplicity is a 2 if it's a bounce, okay? So there you have that one. Next one right here. That's a cross. So x is equal to 3. Cross has multiplicity of 1. Always assume it's 1, 2, or 3. Unless you really want to multiply it out, I will be happy with 1, 2, and 3. State the degree. This is where you add your multiplicity together because that is your exponent, okay? So 2 plus 1 is 3. Your leading coefficient, right here. You see this arrow is heading in the positive direction, so your leading coefficient is positive. Okay. Now it says write the function in standard form. So use this to help you. Remember how we always take the opposite? So f of x is equal to x plus 5, multiplicity of 2, so there's your exponent, times x, opposite of positive 3 is negative 3 with a 1, but you don't have to write that 1. That's called a factor form. Now a standard form is where you actually have to work it out, okay? So I'm going to come up here so I can have some room. So f of x equals, you see how that's a 2? I'm going to write it twice. X plus 5 times x plus 5 times x minus 3, okay? For those two, x squared plus 5x plus 5x plus 25. Combine your like terms. I'm running out of room, so I'm going to put it right here. So, combine your like terms, okay? X squared plus 10x plus 25. Now, bring this one down to right here. So you have x minus 3. Take that first term, x squared, times all of your second, plus 10x times x minus 3, okay? Plus 25 times x minus 3. And now all you have to do is distribute. So, ignore this part. My apologies. Okay, you guys ready? Now, distribute, so you have x to the third minus 3x squared. Let me make my 3 look good. Plus 10x squared minus 30x plus 25x minus 75. Okay, combine your like terms. So f of x equal x to the third plus 7x squared minus 5x minus 75. And there is your standard form. Good luck on your tests. I know you guys will do great.